Alright, question 7. We're looking for the exact value of cosec, sec, and cotan. Just want to remind you, when we have cosec, the third letter tells you that it's 1 over sine, because that's an S. If we have cotan, third letter tells you it's 1 over tan. And sec, third letter tells you it's 1 over cos. Now, obviously, these weren't written specifically to have the third letter as the thing that gives you the hint, but it is the biggest hint you'll get if you can't remember. So, start looking at the third letter to help remind you. So, if we've got cosec 150, if we have a look at that third letter, it's an S, which means it's 1 over sine 150. Now, if I draw this, and I'd like you to get in the habit of drawing. If you're struggling with these, it's a good one to get into. Where 150 is over here. So this is 150, this is 30. You're always looking how far above or below the horizontal line it is, always the horizontal. And if we remember SATC, or all stations to central, or Sex and the City, sine is positive. So all of these things together tell us that sine 150 equals positive sine 30. And if we remember from our triangle, this is 30, 1 to root 3, 60. That means that we know that sine 30 is 1 over 2. So it's positive 1 over 2, which means cosec 150 is 1 over sine 150, which is the same as 1 over positive sine 30, which means it's 1 over a half. Now, you shouldn't need me to go through the maths with you. This is 1 divided by a half, which means keep, flip, change, 1 times 2 on 1, it makes it 2. But if you have something over and then the bottom thing's a fraction, the bottom thing from the bottom, if that makes sense, will join the rest on top. So if you, for example, had 1 over a third, it becomes 3 over 1. Or if you had 4 over 2/3, that would become 4 times 3 over 2. Things like that. Okay, let's look at question B. This time we're asked sec 225. Now if we, and that's the 1 over, look at the third letter, cos 225. Have a go at sketching it. This will always help you. Like, it's never going to hurt. 225 is down here. So that's 225, which means this bit must be 180. 225 take 180, 45. Okay. Sex and the City. I never thought my knowledge of bad TV shows from the 90s and early 2000s would come in so useful. I think the cycle's come around. It's trendy again. So we can say that cos 225, this is in the third quadrant, only tan's positive, so it'd be negative cos 45. I don't know why I put that bracket in. If I draw my 45-degree triangle, 45, 1, 1, that means this must be root 2, so cos 45 equals, we're going to have negative 1 on root 2. Or it could have been root 2 on 2, but you don't need to rationalise these. Okay, so finally we can say sec 225 equals 1 on cos 225, which equals 1 on minus cos 45, which equals 1 on minus 1 on root 2, which equals, don't forget, whenever you have a fraction on the bottom thing can join the top. That's a nice shortcut that I want you to learn if you haven't by now. Haven't figured that one out by now. That means we've got minus root 2 over 1. Well, technically it's root 2 over minus 1. Like, why would you bother having the minus on the bottom though? Minus root 2. Okay. For C, you probably don't need to do all these lines of working out, by the way. Cot 120. Cot 120. Look at the third letter. It's 1 on tan. 120. Now we've figured out it's tan. Let's look at where that fits on our axis and whether it's going to be positive or negative. 120 is like, it's between 90 and 180. So this is 120, which means going up, because it's always up or down from the horizontal. That's 60. So we know tan 120. Oh, we don't know if it's positive or negative. SATC, it's negative tan 60. Right, we need to draw our triangle. So if this is 30, and this is how I always remember this triangle, this is 1 and this is 2, which means this is root 3, and this is 60. So tan 60, opposite over adjacent. So we've got minus root 3 on 1, which is just minus root 3. Okay, so finally, cot 120 is 1 over tan 120, which means it's 1 over minus tan 60, which means it's 1 over minus root 3, which you'd probably just write it as negative 1 on root 3. But if you'd left it this way, you would have still been correct, yeah? Okay, let's have a look at D. I don't know why I moved down without looking at the question. D, where are we? Cot 210. And again, you don't need to do all these lines of working out. You can probably do it in like 3 lines. Don't do all these lines of working out if you don't have to. T's third letter, so it tells us it's 1 over tan. 210, let's draw it. 210 down here. So all the way around is 210, which means it must have been 30 down from the horizontal because it's 180. SATC, good, we're in the tan. Tan is positive. So tan 210 equals positive tan 30. Let's draw our 30-degree triangle. 30, 1, 2. This must be root 3. This must be 60. If you can draw these triangles automatically, it'll help you. But I actually think it's on the reference sheet. You need to double check. So that equals positive tan 30, opposite over adjacent, 1 on root 3, which means cot 210 equals 1 on tan 210, which is 1 on positive tan 30. Again, you don't need to write all these steps, which means it's 1 on positive 1 on root 3. Again, remember, whenever you're dividing by a fraction, the bottom thing can go on the top, which means it's root 3 on 1, and it's positive, which just means it's root 3. Okay, question E. We have sec 330. Ooh, sec, we haven't seen that for a while. Sec 330. Third letter, cos, 1 on cos 330. Let's graph it. 330 is here, so if all the way around here was 330, this must be 30 down, because it's 360 all the way around, which means cos 330, SATC, cos is positive, positive cos 30. Okay, draw our triangle again. 30, 1, 2. And this is 60, so cos 30, opposite, adjacent over hypotenuse, root 3 on 2, so we've got positive root 3 on 2, which means sec 330 is 1 over cos 330, which is 1 over positive cos 30, which means we've got 1 over positive root 3 on 2. Remember, bottom one goes on top. 1 times 2 is 2, So we get 2 on root 3. And if we wanted to rationalise that, that would be 2 root 3 on 3. But, you know, we don't need to. 1 to go, 1 to go. Question F. Cosec 300. So cosec, C-O-S-E-C, 300. Third letter, S tells us it's sine, 1 over sine 300. Okay, let's draw this. 300 is down here. If we've gone all the way around 300, means we must be 60 down. So sine 300. Now I don't know if it's positive or negative, so S-A-T-C, only cos is positive, so it's negative sine 60. I actually know what that is, so let's figure out from our 30 triangle, 30, 1 to root 3, 60 must be over here. So sine 60, opposite over hypotenuse, root 3 on 2, so we've got negative root 3 on 2, which means cosec 300 is 1 on sine 300, which means we've got 1 over, we decided that was negative sine 60, which means we've got 1 over negative root 3 on 2. Don't forget your little cheat. If the thing's on the bottom of the bottom fraction, it can go to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. So we've got negative 2 on root 3. And I just put the negative out the front. That's question 7. Like once you get the hang of them, they're fairly easy.